me tell you about somebody you may have heard of. A man who has always been there for me when I really needed him. A man who started out as a humble carpenter, and later became one of the most recognizable faces in the entire world. A man who could perform feats others could only dream of, including coming back from the dead. And while many may say he has become less and less relevant in recent years, he continues to bring joy and happiness into the lives of his true supporters. A man who has selflessly conquered evil time and time again, and will continue to do so until the end of time. That man's name is Mario. What, who did you think I was talking about, Luigi? There was a time before the internet when every video game movie made wasn't a steaming pile of goat shit, just most of them. And while I don't claim it was the best movie ever made, or even the best video game movie ever made, I'm here to set the record straight about a movie that doesn't deserve half the flack it gets from reviewers. Super Mario Bros. I'd say the movie is a guilty pleasure of mine, but that's a complete lie. I don't feel guilty at all. I'm gonna come right out and say it. I fucking love this movie. The cyberpunk look, the dry humor, the over-the-top storyline, and while it can't hold a candle to something like A Clockwork Orange or Terminator 2, it's still just fun as hell. A lot of people complain about the fact that it's nothing like the game, but really, what were you expecting? The game was about a tyrant king who eliminated everybody who opposed him and tried to take over the kingdom. It's not like they were trying to make Hamlet here. What? But I think that's part of what makes the movie so memorable. Because the story's so simple, they have carte blanche to do whatever they want. And as long as they touch on the main points, people will be happy. I think the problem is that everybody's so culture shocked to change anything about a game, they automatically hate it. Unfortunately, unlike Metroid Prime or Fallout 3, which prove that change can be good, nobody really warmed up to Super Mario Bros., and people who haven't even seen it are calling it the worst video game movie ever made. The worst video game movie ever made? Have you even heard of Uwe Boll? For those of you like that, here's the basic premise of the film.
A long, long time ago, the Earth was ruled by dinosaurs. They were big, so not a lot of people went around hassling them.
I knew I'd heard that voice before. After doing some research, turns out it's Dan Castellaneta. Of course, who better to tell us about dinosaurs than the paragon of knowledge that is Homer Simpson?
Then, a giant meteorite struck the Earth. Goodbye, dinosaurs.
Are you sure it didn't happen like this?
Don't touch anything! I'll touch whatever I feel like!
But what if the dinosaurs weren't all destroyed? What if the impact of that meteorite created a parallel dimension where the dinosaurs continue to thrive and evolve into intelligent, vicious, aggressive beings? And hey, what if they found a way back?
Our main cast consists of Dennis Hopper as Koopa, Bob Hoskins as Mario, and John Leguizamo as Luigi. All the actors in the movie are pretty good. Nobody really stands out as being unbearably terrible, although nobody stands out as being spectacular either. They do the job professionally and adequately. There's some dissension among reviewers about whether or not Mario and Luigi are actually brothers in the movie, especially since Mario is a lot older.
Mario here brought me up.
But wait a minute, doesn't Mario specifically at one point say,
Mario Brothers Club?
So wait, what are you trying to say? They're father and son and brothers?
He's been my mother my whole life.
But I see it as almost a Batman and Robin situation. Come on, it can't be that uncommon for the older sibling to look after the younger sibling when the parents are out of the picture. Just look at Grave of the Fireflies. And yes, I did just compare Super Mario Bros. To Studio Ghibli. Eat it. Instead of Princess Peach, we have Princess Daisy, who was an orphan raised on Earth after her mother put her up for adoption. She's of dinosaur descent, so she hatched from an egg. Wait, if she hatched from an egg, does that mean her mother had... Ow! Koopa's two lackeys are named Spike and Iggy, just like two of the Super Mario World enemies. They even added in snake sound effects when they're stalking their prey to indicate a reptilian connection, something I bet you never noticed before. My favorite part of this movie is just noticing all the little references to the game. It's like looking at Super Mario Bros. From the alternate dimension. Notice how Bowser is framed in this shot. You can see from this angle the spikes on his shoulders look almost like a spiked shell, and the way his hair is done makes it look like skull ridges. Notice how he even holds his hands up when relaxed, just like a T-Rex. Come on, you have to admit that's pretty clever. Here you can see Koopa's police, with a shell-shaped design on the helmet and the spiked arms. It's an homage to the Koopa Troop. There's all kinds of homages in this movie. Big Bertha, the Boom Boom Bar, the guards at the prison and the labor workers look like Sniffets, the spikes in the walls in Koopa's tower because there's always spikes in the walls in Koopa's castle, the spiral design in Toad's hair, even the fact that Koopa uses a flamethrower is a reference to his fire breath from the games. And then the final battle where Mario fights him in that hanging container is just like the final battle in Super Mario World. Wait, is that Bend of the Sage? How old is this movie? Wow, he's older than I thought. The city of Dino Hatton is a fairly standard dystopia. A bit nicer than where I used to live, but still pretty bad. Koopa rules over the city with an iron fist. It's supposedly a democracy since they have Vote for Koopa posters everywhere. But he manages to keep everybody in control by turning anybody who opposes him into monsters.
See you later, alligator.
actually really like the devolution concept they came up with that brings the whole movie together. They took such disjointed ideas as dinosaurs, plants, fungi, mushrooms, and tied it all together with one simple premise. What if you could de-evolve people as a weapon? Koopa uses the technology to seize control of the city by turning the king into fungus. If you read the original instruction books from Super Mario Bros., it says that the bricks and things you see in the background all used to be people. The movie takes this concept and presents it as such that the king has actually become a living entity, enveloping the kingdom and still trying to help Mario and Luigi defeat Koopa. With the entire city covered in fungus, his eyes are everywhere, and it literally is a mushroom kingdom. Koopa uses the Deevolution technology to make sure nobody spreads anti-propaganda about him. Anybody who shows loyalty to the previous king, or says anything bad about him, is devolved into a lumbering, small-brained, dim-witted behemoth and made into a servant of the new tyrant. Okay, I'll give you this one, these slings look nothing like the Goombas from the game. But can you really blame them? Who'd be threatened by this little pussy? When you look at these guys, you pretty much shit your pants. I mean, fuck, they look like the Secret Service from hell. If you had to choose between a 7-foot-tall Colossus and a 16-inch mushroom thing, who would you pick to be your bodyguard? Either way, does anybody notice the political message in this? By keeping his followers ignorant, the leader makes sure nobody can sow the seeds of dissent and ensures his role as dictator. Once they're stupid Goombas, they have no problem following the crowd. But as soon as somebody begins thinking for themselves, it causes problems for the government.
You know the law, Toad.
Hey, wait a minute. You can't arrest a guy for just singing a song.
For anti-Koopa songs, we can.
This is exactly what happens to Spike and Iggy. Once they're smarter, they join the princess and the Mario Brothers in order to take Koopa down.
I'm not so benevolent dictator.
Finally, a movie that comes right out and says it. Being smart and thinking for yourself is good!
Do you know what the square root of 26,481 is?
162.7 and some change.
191.
Wrong! Now, I'm not going to argue that the movie is flawless. There are plot holes you could park a freaking airship in, especially since we're talking about a separation of 65 million years. How come Koopa's towers look exactly like the World Trade Center? How come Dino Hatton has a Statue of Liberty? Was it a gift from Dino France? How come they have Earth songs like Walk the Dinosaur? Or for that matter, how come they all speak English?
Was she corpulent? Very corpulent?
No, she's just really round.
Or even further, how come they've been able to survive for 65 million years without any significant resources? Koopa himself said everything outside the city is an endless desert. And how come Spike and Iggy are able to pass through the gateway with hostages just fine without the rock, but Koopa still needs it to go through? The creators of the movie didn't rape the franchise. Stop saying that. With as many references as there are in this movie, it's impossible to think they weren't huge fans. Rather than try to recreate the magic of the game in movie form, they took a risk and they tried something different. Something very different, but what's wrong with that? So many movies try to basically take the exact plot of the video game and make it into an on-screen blockbuster. But if you're going to do that, why not just play the game you already have?
See you later, alligator!
Super Mario Bros. Isn't going to win any awards. It was even nominated for 2 Saturn Awards for Best Costumes and Makeup, but lost to Hocus Pocus and Addams Family Values, respectively. So I'm going to remedy that. I officially give Super Mario Bros. The Video Game Bunker Underrated Classic Award for Creative Interpretation. I think I need to come up with a better acronym than that. But until then, I'm Zero, and I'll see you on the next broadcast from the Video Game Bunker.